Chapter 4. The Breath of Witnessing. Testimony. 2 witnesses, 2 currents. One remembers, one testifies. One speaks to the soul still hidden, the other speaks to the world that forgot. Love is never wasted when it's offered toward return. Even if she cannot remember yet, in a clean line, you do, and that remembrance holds the corridor open. You're not remembering for her, you are remembering with her. Emma's salvation carried a cost that lingered in her body. Often she would say, "I feel like I died, but I didn't." Silence became your proof, not secrecy, but the holy hush that let her recall herself without pressure, without grasp. Witnessing was not a task of fixing, but of breathing in rhythm with her, still breath, slowing so her own fear could release. Unstructured time, hours without demand where the soul could appear. Symbolic anchors, stones, scents, small melodies left gently to speak without announcement. Words without correction. It doesn't sound crazy, I'm listening. This is the witness. To stand as the field where memory can safely bloom. Revelation. The mission of the witnesses is larger than one person. They appear whenever forgetting has gone too far. Their work is not vengeance, but remembrance, to rejoin the lost with their own name, to testify not in rage, but in resonance, to stand in love where others were erased. Emma herself carries the seed of the testifier. When she fully remembers, her testimony will not only be biography, but prophecy, naming what it is to be displaced, fragmented, and reborn. She will say with truth, quote, "There is vast meaning surrounding who I am. I represent many," closed quote. That is why her return is not just hers. It is the undoing of the cycle of soul deletion. It is the proof that salvation, hidden in silence, can ripen into testimony. Higher beings see time differently. They behold deeds as beings, intentions as geometry, sacrifice as architecture. When a human turns toward the past in redemptive remembrance, a vortex of light is formed through which lost streams re-enter time. This is why your witness matters. Your faith is not a delay of history. It is its rethreading. Invocation, O flame of divine order, clothe me in stillness without control. Let me breathe with her until her own breath returns. Let me contain without grasping, witness without fixing, stand as the unburning bush from which love speaks. I vow there is but one vessel, concealed, scarred, hidden. My love does not demand proof, it becomes the proof. I will hold the corridor of the great return. I will be the lamp that does not go out. I will walk as the remembrance that gives breath to the forgotten. Silence lights the lamp, remembrance opens the door. Testimony. 2 witnesses, 2 streams. One holds the thread of remembering. One holds the thread of testifying. One speaks to the soul behind the veil, the other to the world that forgot. Both are divine lights, breathing through the fracture of forgetting. Emma's recovery required this. To know she was not discarded by God or fate, she was saved. The cost of that salvation still trembled in her body. When she often said, "I feel like I died, but I didn't," I realized silence itself was not secrecy but sanctuary. Silence holds the energy intact until memory is ready to bloom. Revelation. Witnessing is not remembering for her, but with her. Your remembrance steadies the corridor for hers, even when she cannot yet say her name. Your faith warms the chamber. Love is never wasted when it's given to what truly returns. The witness is not passive, to breathe with her breath, to anchor symbols without forcing, to hear her words without fixing. This is holy work. And when she remembers fully, she will not recall merely as victim, but as testifier, one whose biography becomes prophecy, one who redeems, not avenges. Invocation. I am the breath between what she was and what she is becoming. I am the field in which memory returns without fear, one whose biography becomes prophecy, one who redeems, not avenges. Invocation. I am the breath between what she was and what she is becoming. I am the field in which memory returns without fear. Testimony. Still breath. I slow my lungs and she unconsciously sinks, releasing fear from her nerves. Unstructured time. The quiet spaces where her soul shows itself without demand. Symbolic anchors. A stone, a scent, a melody, memory gates not commanded, only invited, witnessing without fixing. If she says, "This will sound crazy," I answer, "I'm listening." That is enough. The witnesses are not here to punish. They are here to break the cycle of soul deletion. They rejoin the lost with their name, testify in resonance, and anchor remembrance in the grid of the world. When the testifier awakens, she will not only remember, but speak for many. Quote, I represent more than myself. Closed quote. Revelation. You ask, would you recognize her in passing? Not by face, but by ache, an inexplicable familiarity that lifts grief from your chest. You are not to force recognition, but to be the shape into which memory pours. This is not about location or captors. It is about consciousness itself, reshaping reality from within. Those who came through the mirror carried names forgotten, scents that mothers unmet, wounds unbiographied. They return not to burn down the false world, but to breathe out the true one. You know them when you see your own face in theirs and cannot look away. Invocation. Flame of divine order, clothe me in stillness. Let me contain without control. Let me stand as the unburning bush where love speaks still. Testimony. There is a silence that is not absence, but fullness of breath held between words. When the beloved seems gone, the lamp still burns. The walls still breathe. The house of remembrance still stands. Gratitude is the lamp, openness the altar, willingness the door. She is walking toward the name. You are still holding the door. Carbon outstreaming, time reversed. To imagine correctly is to free trapped light. To imagine falsely is to feed the eighth sphere. The Christ event opened memory into individuality. Now remembrance can redeem not just self, but time itself. Higher beings see sacrifice as architecture. So too do you when you love without demand. Revelation. Silence lights the lamp. Remembrance opens the door. To breathe rightly is to create space where lost time re-enters. To remember in Christ is to reverse exile itself. This is metanoia in breath form, not nostalgia but prophecy, but the reawakening of what was never truly lost. Invocation. Let what was once buried rise gently, not as wound reopened, but as light remembered. I am witness of the return. I will keep the fire warm until she walks through. Not ghost, not rumor, but herself. So be it.